This is Liz Cambage, full-time WNBA All-Star, one of the greatest players of her generation. Career earnings, $900,000. Earnings on OnlyFans, $1.5 million. In her first week. That's right, she made more on OnlyFans in 7 days than in her entire basketball career. She's not the only one. From track and field to bobsled, more and more pro athletes are joining OnlyFans to make a living. Even Douglas Costa and Nick Kyrgios. Now you might think the obvious. These athletes are selling their bodies for money, and the guys at Athletic Interest made a video about it to have fun with the research. But it's more complicated than that. We are not just talking about lower-ranked athletes, but Olympic champions, Wimbledon finalists, and Champions League footballers. Why would any of those athletes join a platform that is popular for pornography? How much money are they making? And what does this say about the current sports and creator economy? As it turns out, there is a much bigger picture. Welcome to Athletic Interest and the OnlyFans business of athletes. OnlyFans has managed to do something that most companies fail. They took something people were used to getting for free and convinced them to pay for it. The numbers speak for themselves. Over 350 million users, nearly 8 billion in revenue in 2024, and a large chunk of that went straight to creators. For comparison, that's $1 billion more than the combined salaries of every NBA player. Sure, there are way more creators on OnlyFans than players in the NBA, but it's also a lot easier to start an OnlyFans than to land an NBA contract. This is no career advice, by the way. The point is, the top earners make a lot of money. Like Sophie Rain, who shared a screenshot of her yearly earnings. Minus the fee, she makes roughly $3 million per month. But that's still ridiculous to what this guy makes. Sorry for all the numbers, but we're getting somewhere, promise. OnlyFans has just 42 employees. That works out to over $31 million in revenue per employee. That's more than Google, Apple, Meta, you name it. And since the company is completely bootstrapped with no outside investors, he took home nearly $500 million in dividends last year. So naturally, other social media platforms started to think, let's do subscriptions too. Elon Musk even changed the policy to allow porn on his platform. But subscriptions are only part of the OnlyFans business model. Despite looking like other social media platforms, OnlyFans runs on a completely different business model. First, you won't find them on any app store. Apple's terms don't allow platforms with sexually explicit content, so OnlyFans operates entirely outside the app ecosystem. Most social media companies make their money from advertisers. But OnlyFans makes all of their money directly from their creators. And those creators get paid directly by their fans. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut, and the rest goes to the creator. That's more generous and more transparent than most other platforms. YouTube, for example, shares around 45%, and only with selected channels. Don't worry, we're not switching anytime soon. Now, OnlyFans didn't invent revenue sharing, and they have way fewer users than YouTube or Facebook. But there's one key difference. Because they are not on the App Store, they don't have to give Apple or Google a 15 to 30% cut of every transaction. And that's the only reason they can sustain the 80-20 split. If Apple was already taking 30%, there's no way OnlyFans could afford to pay creators 80%. So, almost by accident, they landed a competitive advantage. Better payouts and more control over the platform. And it gets better. Creators use other platforms to go viral and then link to their OnlyFans profiles. So OnlyFans doesn't need to spend big on advertising. They've basically outsourced user acquisition to their creators. Put all that together, and you get one of the most unique business models in the creator economy. But here's the question. Athletes make a ton of money anyway. Why join a platform popular for porn, when you already get crazy salaries, prize money, and sponsorships? Or do they? Unless you're a global superstar like LeBron, Messi, or Simone Biles, the truth is, most professional athletes earn surprisingly little. Let's take Olympic athletes as an example. The average track and field athlete makes around $15,000 per year from their sport. That's less than a McDonald's worker in France who earns about $22,000 on minimum wage. And it gets worse. The International Olympic Committee, which earns over $7 billion per Olympic cycle, pays absolutely nothing to the athletes directly, even if they win gold. That's because the Olympic system was built on the idea that athletes should remain amateurs, competing for honor, not money. A rule originally designed to keep working-class athletes out of elite sport, and one that still affects how money flows in the industry today. We've actually made a full video about this. We'll link it in the description if you want to dive deeper. So how do Olympians survive? They rely on a fragile mix of three things. Salaries, if they are lucky, prize money, which varies wildly, and sponsorships, which mostly go to the big names in football and basketball. Take the 2012 London Olympics. Usain Bolt made over $20 million that year with a $9 million Puma deal. But Megan Kalmer, an Olympic bronze medalist in rowing, she made $10,000 for her medal, before taxes, and had to grow her own vegetables to make ends meet. And it's not just Olympians. A study found that 80% of professional athletes in the US don't consider themselves financially stable. Travel, gear, training, nutrition, it all adds up. Sponsorship money is drying up, especially if you're not constantly on TV. Which brings us back to OnlyFans. Because if you're a world-class athlete with a loyal fan base, but you're earning less than a delivery driver, why wouldn't you turn to a platform that lets you monetize your following directly? Speaking of building and monetizing a following, if you're a creator, athlete, or business trying to grow online, you need to understand what drives traffic to your site. That's where today's video sponsor Ahrefs comes in, with their free Ahrefs webmaster tools. It shows you what's working, what's broken, and what's holding your site back. You get automated site audits to fix technical issues, information about keywords you rank for, and now also free web analytics that actually respect your privacy. Oh, and it's real-time data, so you don't have to wait 2 days to see who's visiting your site. It all updates in under a minute. Ahrefs Web Analytics is lightweight, privacy-friendly, and built for people who actually care about performance. You can sign up for free at ahrefs.com/AWT or via the link in the description. There is an ongoing tug-of-war in the creator economy. On one side, the creators, athletes, in our case, who produce the content. On the other, the platforms that distribute it. The question is always the same. Who gets how much of the money? Social media platforms make billions by monetizing the attention athletes generate. Think of Douglas Costa. Millions of fans, millions of clicks. But most of the value he creates goes to the platforms. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are great for exposure. They help creators land brand deals, affiliate links, and sponsorships. But when it comes to paying creators directly, almost nothing. YouTube is an exception. It shares ad revenue, mostly respects creators, and rewards consistency. But even on YouTube, it's a grind to make a living. Talking from experience here. OnlyFans wants to flip the model, allowing creators to monetize their audience directly. It's part of a larger shift in the maturing creator economy. Creators getting a bigger slice of the value they generate. And for the most part, that's a good thing. More control, more transparency, more revenue for creators. But there is a catch. OnlyFans still comes with baggage. Yes, they market the idea of behind-the-scenes access, training footage, recovery routines, Q&As. But let's be real. Most content on the platform isn't meal plans and workout tips. Unless you're willing to show skin, the odds of making serious money are slim. And for athletes, that comes with a risk. Aligning with a platform still associated with adult content could harm sponsorship opportunities. It could turn off brands and eventually backfire. Some critics also argue that it normalizes explicit content, or worse, pushes financially struggling athletes toward choices they wouldn't otherwise make. It becomes an ethical question. Is OnlyFans empowering athletes to monetize their attention, or nudging the vulnerable to sell their bodies? There's something to win and something to lose for athletes joining OnlyFans. But the biggest winner in all of this, OnlyFans itself, because there is a catch to why so many pro athletes are joining the platform. Many of them get paid by OnlyFans to do so. They are not only doing it to get the 80% cut, but they get good old sponsorship money from the company. Why? Because OnlyFans wants to go mainstream, and their way in is sports. They even have a whole sports blog on their website, where they report about OnlyFans-sponsored athletes and teams. The strategy is social proofing. Athletes and fans will be more likely to sign up in the future as they see others doing the same. Adult content is still their core business, but if they want to grow, they need to diversify. And sports is one of the most trusted, emotionally driven content genres out there. It also fits the broader trend. Athletes building direct relationship with fans without relying on media companies or brands. Cristiano started a YouTube channel. Kylie Kuzma launched a newsletter. Austin Eckler built his own app called Experience. Everyone's trying to own the connection.